as I was driving to work sometime within the last couple of weeks, I had an experience that had some lessons in it for me from Spirit, which I really loved. And this is about control and vulnerability and noticing the difference between being in that place of exiting survival mode. Because I think when we're in survival mode, or at least for me, that is very much associated with control. Control is the defense mechanism, the survival tool to be able to try to ascertain safety, to get two steps ahead of this thing, right? Always the overanalyzing, the mind trying to project these variety of different potentialities so that we can try to control the outcomes, control the situation. And this is very opposite energy from being led from a higher realm, from a seat of a sacred surrender that is an integral part of flow and miracles. That sacred surrender is just like a crucial element to allowing my life to unfold in ways that is bigger and better than what I would be able to accomplish if I maintained that white knuckle grip on that steering wheel of control from my survival wounds, from my mind's perceived need to be in control, to control outcomes. So the story is this. I was driving to work and I had some music on connected to my phone, and the music was very simultaneously reflecting what was happening in my mind and the control place and the like, let's get a jump on the vulnerability and be in control thing that was happening. So this song is playing and I really like the song, so I didn't want to put the radio on or skip it, but then it just paused, like buffering, and wasn't playing. And it wasn't about like internet or data, or it shouldn't have been, rather, right? And so I was just like, okay, be patient. If it is, if it's not back on in the next like 2 minutes, then I'll turn it off and put the radio on. And then at like a minute and 58, essentially, it turned back on. And then I'm enjoying listening to it. And a couple of minutes later, or even less than that, right? It was like really interrupted. The interruption then happens again, and the music stalls. And this looped a couple times where I was getting impatient with it and thinking like, if there's another interruption, then I can't enjoy it. It was very all or nothing. It was very all or nothing type of limited mind space and control. Impatience, and that impatience coming from, I need to know what's happening here, right? So all the while, this is more than about music. All the while, there were other things in the back of my mind that I was thinking about. Like, I need to know, what is the end of this particular story? Like a different kind of scenario in my life, right? What's the end of this particular story? What's going to happen here? And my mind wasn't thinking about it exactly in that way of like, what's the end? But kind of, as I reflect on that, kind of like that. You know, either this is going to happen or it's not. This is either going to happen or it's not. It's going to either look this way or it's not. And All of this is imaginary. It was not reality based, and it was my mind's way of trying to beat vulnerability to the punch, right? Trying to add control, which strangles any of the enjoyment out of the situation that is happening for me. This is the thing that I'm referencing is like everything is going so beautifully. It's lovely. I'm really enjoying it. And it is something that my spirit team is providing to me. It's like the path again, that spiritual path where unfolding is necessary, right? You can't stand on the sideline and say, I'll take a couple steps down that path, but first I want to see the entire trajectory of that path, right? Let's take a little virtual tour so I can check it out and make sure it's truly the path that I want to walk down. Like, this is not a spiritually led life. This is not a spiritually led life if you are resisting the sacred surrender and ultimate sense of trust and faith that allows you to have a sense of movement that comes from resonance rather than action that is coming from very conscious decisions. I'm thinking and now it's pulling together for me. I've had some really beautiful conversations with several people about this theme that I hadn't fully realized until this moment. One, for sure, because the person came in and said almost exactly the same scenario about my music conundrum. Said, this was happening, Spirit is teaching me about surrender, almost verbatim the things that I had experienced but hadn't yet told the person. So validation all the way around, right? As they're like, I'm learning to go with the flow and trust Spirit, and there was a message through the music that showed up for me. My music stopped, and then I was feeling frustrated about it. And as soon as I arrived at this sense of, I understand what's happening here with the lesson that Spirit is trying to tell me about, like the relax, release, drop your shoulders down, allow the flow, and start to see a depth that is underneath every seemingly insignificant moment in your life, because it is all much more than what it appears to be. And the minute that landed, my music turned back on and had no interruptions for the rest of the drive, which is exactly what had happened to me, right? And when you are in that place of survival and you are making decisions from a place of your limited mind, this is going to reflect the lessons you have learned from attachment wounds. But if you want your reality to reflect a more abundant, less like an expansive, limitless existence that is coming from your collective field of energy. And when I say your collective field of energy, that includes your higher self and the spirit team that was divinely designed to be orchestrating the unfolding of this plan, then you certainly do not want your movement to be anchored into any lessons that we've learned from a place of attachment wounds. This is going to create an equal and opposite an accidental self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will. Yes, it is. And I'm seeing this in not just myself, but in many other people who are at this particular point in their healing journey where they've really done a lot of healing. And it is like, welcome to the new you. Welcome. When you have lived your whole life in some semblance of limitation or survival mode, and then you finally take these first steps over that threshold into this limitless existence, your entire navigation system has just been upgraded. It takes a minute to fully settle into that energy. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All gratitude and love. And there's just a little lag with the ego, the human identity, as you're meeting yourself in this new energy for the first time. And I'm seeing lessons pop up that are just sweet, gentle little reminders of this, like, hey girl, you got a new navigation system here, okay? We're in some adjustment period as we learn to flow and move from a place of that sacred surrender. And when I say, again, the sacred surrender, this is not defeat. This is a very different energy from defeat. This is true power. This is more power than you felt in your life, right? This is limitless. This is expansive. Tingles on my head as I'm saying this. Beautiful, beautiful. If we're just getting used to how that horsepower feels, right? How smooth the steering is. I think it's like a welcome change. I'm just even thinking of the analogy of going from my last car, which I, pretty much like rode into the ground, which I had tended to do during the first half of my life, being more in survival mode. And I say that because at times I probably didn't need to do that, but it was choices I made to function in that way. Even when I had more resources that would have made it so that I didn't need to function in this way. Yeah. But anyway, going from the that car being much less smooth than the car I drive now, it's a welcome change, but it's still an adjustment. It's still an adjustment when you get used to a different level of comfort. It takes a bit for your whole body to just relax in to this new, evolved state of being. And so I'm finding really that even after we've hit these massive places of transformation where celebratory energy is coming through from our spirit team, you got your wings, you got your wings. There's just a little lag from the human pieces of, do I want to say believing that we have those wings and not, when we're flying and we're doing a little free fall, it's for fun because we can, right? And these little places in us still kind of like, I need to reach for something to cling on to. No, you don't. This is us, right? Believe who you are now.